something to talk about. My name is Taco, and it's Saturday morning, and I got a really awful character to talk to you about. We are covering Rafford, Raff the Sweetling, and before we get into it, this is what's going on here. Possible spoilers for the show. Of course, this is a character who never made it into the show, but a lot of his actions did. And I want to say straight up, right away, so I don't forget, massive trigger warning. If you cannot, this is a Mountains man. If you can't handle or don't want to handle or want to think about really excessive violence, especially violence towards women, especially that kind of violence, not the character for you. I don't even like this character. I'm covering Rafford, but man, writing this definitely, I didn't enjoy it. I really hate this character, just like how I hate most Mountains men. And yeah, so I want everyone to know, if you're watching this and you don't want to deal or hear about that, this is your warning. Please, I don't want to ruin your day at all. So if you don't want to hear that, massive trigger warning. And all right, let's get into Rafford. Yay, Raff the Sweetling. So yeah, Rafford, known as Raff the Sweetling, is one of the Mountains men, a man-at-arms in the service to Ser Gregor Clegane. Rafford has a mop of sandy hair. He is a younger man, but handsome. He is soft-spoken, but cruel and sadistic. He is bolder than many of the other Mountains men, and he drinks less than Eswardmouth, who I've covered, by the way, but has low cutting. I want you guys to know, if you want to watch a video of a Mountains man who isn't super awful, Eswardmouth is definitely that character. He was my April Fool's video last year. He was much cooler. I like that character more than I like this character. All right, so since Rafford doesn't actually have a house, we're just gonna cover the Mountains men. So yeah, the Mountains men. The Mountains men are men-at-arms of the Westerlands in service to Gregor Clegane, which I already said. The Mountains men are dangerous, unsavory bunch, grim and foul-mouthed. The best that can be said about the Mountains men are they are not as quite as vile bunch as the Brave Companions. I think that's up for debate. I absolutely think that's up for debate. I don't know, man. I think the Mountains men are pretty awful. So, yeah. Senator Clegane refers to his brother's soldiers as Gregor's pet rats. According to Sandor, Gregor once killed a man for snoring. That's great. Gregor never brings his men-at-arms to court in King's Landing. The only exceptions are Joss Stiltwood, who serves as his squire. They often refer to Gregor as Sir. So yeah, when the Mountains men are just talking, they say Sir thinks this, Sir does that, because none of them are knights, and only Gregor Clegane is. The rest of them are just men-at-arms. So just saying Sir is enough, right? Yeah. Okay, where are we? We're here now. All right. Can you walk? So Raff the Sweetling is among the Mountains men who capture Arya Stark, Gendry, and Hot Pie near the God's Eye after the small gang of kids escape the village burned down by Amory Lorch. So, to tell you how that happens, Gendry is captured by the Mountains men, and then later Arya returns to the others to insist that Hot Pie and her free Gendry. So, a little backstory: when all this little gang joined the Night's Watch to go up, I couldn't remember Yoren's name there. Yoren, they get attacked by Amory Lorch, and they're in a village that burns down, and Yoren dies, and a bunch of the other guys die. So she escapes it with Lamy, but Lamy is really badly hurt. Hot Pie, Gendry, and I think Weasel too. So yeah, that's how they escape there. So this takes place like right after that, and then Gendry gets captured. So this is her and Hot Pie trying to discuss how to go free Gendry from the Mountains men. So that's where we're at. All right, so Hot Pie insists they cannot fight 20 soldiers, but Arya argues that they will only have to kill the 2 guards, like just the 2 guys who are watching. Lamy suggests that they just yield. Lamy likes to yield. or just leave Gendry, but Arya points out that they need him to carry Lami, because Lami can't walk. When Arya insists, Hot Pie reluctantly agrees to come along, but Hot Pie immediately leaps up as soon as he gets there and shouts that he yields, so he's not a lot of help. Arya bounces up and tries to draw a needle, but she gets surrounded. She tries to fight them, but it doesn't work. After Hot Pie yields some more and tells them about Lami and then Weasel, Ser Gregor orders them to lead his men and then walks off, right? Like, go lead the men there. As they walk back to where Lami and Weasel are hiding, Hot Pie promises to make pies and tarts for the four soldiers if they do not hurt him. When they arrive, Lami immediately yields and explains that Weasel ran off when she heard someone coming. The soldiers ask Lami where they can find Beric Dondarrion, but Lami has never heard that name before. One of the guards declares that this was a waste of time since Arya's group does not know any more than the villagers. Raff, the guy we're talking about, asks Lami if he can walk. Lami says, "No, you got to carry me." And Raff says, "You think so?" And then he drives his spear through the boy's throat, and then he chuckles to himself. That's our introduction to Raff the Sweetling. Yay! And it doesn't get any better. Yay, this is a fun one. He's a monster. Thanks to his killing of Lami, Arya adds Raff to her list of those she hates and wants to kill. On the march to Harrenhal, a man-at-arms smashes the face of a 3-year-old boy with a spiked mace. Jeez. And Raff, all right, guys, I warned about violence. I just gotta say it again. If you can't handle, I just said a 3-year-old boy got smashed by the head. Trigger warning, more violence. This is fantastic. This is super fun. He kills the screaming mother shortly after. Damn. I just wrote that as I was typing this, like, damn. So Cheswick tells a story that I will not repeat about Lana, a alehouse owner's daughter. I will not talk about that. It's a chapter I actually skipped. A portion of that chapter I actually skip. I can't really go through that, but it's horrific, and I won't mention it. I'm mentioning Raff's part in it, but that's all I'm doing. Sorry to even mention that chapter, but he happens to be in it. All right. Cheswick tells a story that I won't repeat, but Raff is in the story, and he stabs the owner's son when he is interrupted during this awful act. Right. All right. Moving on quickly. Raff forges. Forges is just them. Is what they call it when they go to village to village and try to get information, kill and burn everybody, and try to get information on Beric Dondarrion. It's not like actually forging. Raff forges with Ser Gregor Clegane, Cheswick, and the Tickler. For telling the story and for his part in it, Arya whispers Cheswick to Jack and Hagar. Hagar, obliging, pushes him off a wall 3 days later. So Chiswick ends up being one of the 3 names that Arya says, right? I've done a let's talk about the difference for Jack and Hagar. If you want more information, of course, on Jaqen and the 3 names and why she's saying these names. But yeah, she whispers names to Jaqen. Jaqen kills them. Arya's stuck. All right. So she doesn't use it on Raff. He later departs Harrenhal alongside Lord Tywin Lannister as part of Gregor's vanguard, unknowingly putting himself out of Arya's reach to choose him as her next target for Jack and Hagar. Raff's atrocities are recalled by Arya, who informs Harwin and the Brotherhood Without Banners. Well, she is in search for Beric Dondarrion. Well, they are all looking for Beric Dondarrion. Raff then continues to be included in Arya's list later on, as time goes on, she struggles to remember his face, as well as the other members of Gregor's men-at-arms. So yeah, she's still trying to remember what he looks like, but she's still saying his name at night as somebody who she wants to be dead, right? It's just a thing she does where she has a list of names, right? All right, moving on. Jaime and the Riverlands. So this is the skip way later, right? So Arya is now out of Westeros, and Jaime has already dealt with Harrenhal, made it all the way south. It now has a golden hand, and he's going up into the Riverlands to kind of fix everything, right? So Jaime in the Riverlands. When Jaime leaves King's Landing to put an end to the fighting that's still going on at the Riverlands, he pauses at Harrenhal. There he sees Raff wearing a chain of coins that once belonged to Vargo Hoat. Jaime has Gregor Clegane's men release all the prisoners, including Willis Matterly, and then it leaves Bonifer Hasty and his Holy Hundred to hold the castle until Peter Baelish takes up its lordship. Bonifer Hasty refuses to allow the Mountain's men to stay at Harrenhal. Jaime brings them to Riverrun as part of a force to besiege the castle, and Jaime then tasks Ronnet Connington, so this is before he leaves, and some of the Mountain's men to escort Sir Willis Mannerly to Maidenport, so that gets, or Maidenpool, so that gets rid of them. Some of them. Jaime notices two washerwomen playing with Raff and other men-at-arms in the river. Well, one woman is on their shoulders, mock fighting. He bets a copper star on the girl riding Raff, but loses it when Raff and the girl fall into the reeds. It's just something that happened. I don't know the importance of him and some washerwomen playing in the river, but it's a thing that happened. After the siege at Riverrun ends, Jaime orders a dozen Mountain's men to lead, led by Raff, to escort Robin Ryger and Sir Desmond Grell to Maidenpool for their journey to the Wall. I don't bring it up later, but there is a fan theory when I want to say it was when I covered Desmond Grell, that they never made it there, and these guys aren't going up to the Wall anytime soon. There is a fan theory that people just think that Raff just straight up iced them. Let's hope that didn't happen. I'm not bringing that up later in my theories, but yeah, that's just something, right? All right. The Bloody Hand. Several Mountain's men accompanying Ronnet when he comes to King's Landing in response to the landing. King's Landing in response to the landing of the Golden Company. When Harry's Swift expresses worries about dangerous times, Kevin Lannister suggests that he hire some of the Mountain's men to add to his household guard. So Harry Swift, who is a part of the Wester, he's a Westerman, right? Needs more people. So Kevin Lannister is like, have some of Gregor's old dudes. He ain't using them anytime soon. So that's how Raff ended up there. So now, the following slides, so I still got a few slides left, are all from wins. So anytime I cover Winds of Winter, I do a disclaimer of letting you guys know that this book never came out, or it hasn't came out yet. Hopefully it does, right? So these are all just from sample chapters. So a little bit of a pinch of salt, because things might have changed, right? Like it hasn't been published yet. Everything's subject to change until it actually comes out. So a little warning anytime I cover anything from Winds. So yeah. When Harry Swift is sent to negotiate with the Iron Throne's debt with the Iron Bank of Bravos, he's accompanied by Raff, one of his guards. They attend a performance of the Bloody Hand at the Gate. The name of the stage is called the Gate. The name of the plan is the Bloody Hand. The Bloody Hand features characters such as the Fat King, played by Isambaro, the Boy King, and a demonic dwarf played by Babono. Mercy, her character, so there's the character Mercy, who we're going to talk about. That's whose chapter this is. Mercy's character is a young, sweet maiden who will be attacked and murdered by the dwarf. I'm using the word attacked instead of a different word here. Before the show, Mercy scans the audience and sees a Westerosi envoy has arrived, as well, accompanied by a character named the Black Pearl of Bravos. They speak about, so she's just talking to some of the other mummers, and they speak about the sigil of the envoy, and Mercy's friend, Dana, points out that the envoy's guards have lions on their sigils. Then Mercy sees a familiar face. Her belly gives a quiver, and she thinks that the gods have given her a gift. She points him out to Dana, needing a cover. She tells her that she thinks he is fair to look upon. Oh, I just think he's hot. I want to go look at him. Dana says that he's too old and a savage, because all Westerosi are savages. I love that. And Dana tells her to stay away. Mercy giggles and decides to go search for him. She tells Dana to tell the others that she is going off to practice her lines for the play. So, yeah, moving straight on. So, Mercy, don't worry, we'll get to who Mercy is. The POV character of this chapter sees this guy and wants to go talk to him. So first she just kind of like sneaks up and can listen, right? So Lord Rafford, the man Mercy is looking for, is found guarding the entrance to the envoy's seating with another lion guard. And he goes, "Seven hells, this place is damp. I'm chilled to the bones. Where are the bloody orange trees? I always heard there were orange trees in the free cities, lemons and limes and pomegranates and hot peppers and warm nights and girls with bare bellies. Where are my bare-bellied girls, I ask you?" This is a great little monologue. Raff asked the other guard. The other guard said that it's in the southern free cities. Like, this isn't in the south. I wonder if the Lemon Gate stuff happened before this sample chapter, or if, like, I want to know what came first. This line about there are no lemons before or after Lemon Gate. Gotta love Lemon Gate. All right, cool. Yeah, and where are the bare-bellied girls? That's what I always wonder. The other guard says it's in the southern free cities. So then Mercy wonders if she should take him to her place so she can take her time with him, is how she thinks it. Mercy approaches the guards as the play begins. Then when they turn out not to understand Braavosi, Mercy speaks to them in broken common tongue, calling them lords, right? And telling them that Isambaro said to please the lords. His companion is disgusted by the thought of sleeping with this girl because she is so young. Yeah, Mercy's a child. But the guard she likes sees no problem and is touching her through her clothes. It's so gross. She claims that she is a maiden, and the man says, "Not for long. I'm Lord Raff the Sweetling, and I know just what I want." Yeah, I need a shower after this one. Sorry, guys. He tries to take her right there, but Mercy tells him the others might hear her, and then leads him towards her little room a few blocks away from the gate. So, just moving on. You know your line. She teases him that he could be a mummer, and that she could teach him a line to say. He grabs her and says, "I'll do the teaching," and then crudely kisses her. She stops him again and warns him that they must hurry. Otherwise, Mercy will miss her, quote, assault scene in the next act. And then he grossly says, "No fear of that, girl." Yuck. All right, gross. I hate this guy. This chapter makes me feel so greasy. Yeah. Yep. Once in her room, Mercy dances for him and calls him old. She tells him her name is Mercy, and he says, "My name is Raff." And she says, "I know." So she slides her fingers between or down the inside of Raff's thigh. But when Raff insists that she unlace him, Mercy steps away and tells him that he is bleeding. Rafford does not understand. He tells her, he calls her a bad name, then starts bleeding heavily and calls for Mercy to go get a towel, then a healer, and he struggles to stand. Mercy insists that the healer will only help those who come to him. When Rafford tells her that he cannot walk, he says, "You'll need to carry me." So Mercy happily thinks to herself, "See, you know your line, and so do I." So then she says, "You think so?" And Arya Stark says sweetly, Raff the Sweetling looks up sharply as the long, thin blade comes sliding out from her sleeve, slipping it through his throat and beneath his chin, twisted, and rips it back out sideways with a single smooth slash. Yeah, brutal, brutal, brutal. A fine red wine flowed, and in his eyes the light went out. So Arya whispers Valar Morghulis as he dies. His corpse is dumped in a Braavosi canal to be eaten by eels. Oh, yeah. Mercy's really good. This is a really good Arya chapter. I started to not really love Arya chapters and Bravos, like Cat of Canals I don't love, and a couple of the other ones, like, they're fine, but like Mercy is like, I can't wait for wins. Like, so many of the sample chapters are so good. It's so weird to think that Mercy is that good and it's a sample chapter. Same with Forsaken. I think I talk about it in here. But yeah, there you guys go. Oh wait, I should play my vid here every time the character I'm talking about dies.
Poochie's dead!
All right, let's get into it. Arya would have liked that. All right, no theories or mercy. You like what I did there? Not really any theories on Raff himself. He's a complete monster and got what's coming to him. I find it really funny that they kept him out of the show, but they give his parts to other characters. So this almost low-key became a let's talk about the difference, but it's other characters who get his thing. So it's Polliver who kills Lamy in the show, not Raff. And of course, it's Meryn Trant that they just turn into a monster, a complete monster out of the blue for Arya to slaughter. So it's like, Meryn Trant, who she kills in the show. And Meryn is, in the books, he's not like that. Like, he's kind of a jerk, but, we don't know that he's a disgusting monster like Raff is. So, yeah, I don't know why they just, like, kind of split Raff between a couple characters, but whatever. I mean, we didn't lose too much. Raff isn't exactly a casualty by any means. He's gross. Yeah, so where was I? But yeah, I do love this Mercy chapter. It's not as good as Forsaken, which is one of my favorite chapters, but it's still an amazing sample chapter, and that's why I spent so much time on it. I know some people have issues with how mature Arya is in the chapter, but I don't. So a lot of people are like, yeah, but so she's so sexual. She isn't. She isn't sexual. She's playing a character that is to get that she's an assassin, and she's just getting better at being an assassin. She's playing the part. But yeah, it's all just to knock someone off her list, and I just love it. Yeah, I mean, you can disagree. You guys can, if you think that Mercy, that she doesn't really act like Arya in it, which I've heard a lot of people say, and I know it's probably tied to the time jump of how that book was probably, that chapter was probably thought of before he decided not to do the time jump, but maybe, who knows, lots of speculation. I love the chapter. It's not as great as the Forsaken, but it's right up there. I think Mercy's fantastic, and that's why I covered it so much. I used to not really cover Wynn's sample chapter so much, but the last couple vids I did with two Saturday vids ago, I covered Miranda Royce, and in that I covered a lot of Elaine's chapter, and here, covering Rafford, you kind of have to cover the Mercy chapter. He's like, he's front and center in that chapter. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry, you probably didn't, because Rafford's disgusting. I did leave out, certain things that I consider just too messed up for me to talk about. But, yeah, that's it. You have a good rest of your Saturday or whatever day you're watching this. And, yeah, that's all I got. Peace.